when you see that cross, like you see a 50 to 200-day cross downward, that actually means also that the market has dropped a lot
Yes, it has
already,
dropped
that
quite a
it's
bit.
maybe
Yes.
in the tail end of it dropping. Isn't it a bit late already at that time?
Okay, in my opinion, nobody can ever time the market, but I'd rather to be late than sorry. So sometimes the market can kind of fake us by actually just turn a little bit and then before bouncing back up. So since whenever I enter my options position, I usually get the longest contract. So so that to prevent myself of having not enough time for the market to so-called respond.
So hi everyone, we're in for a very special treat. We have Chloe Lynn. She's an options trader. I believe she's very, very good at it. And we're gonna talk about her insights on how she has become very, very profitable in the market. So Chloe, it's an honor to have you here in the show.
Hi, thank you so much, Marvin, for inviting me. Such an honor. Really can't wait to share with you guys about the insights and what's happening. And in fact, I also have some questions to ask Marvin at the very end for my own knowledge.
Okay. So before I begin, I want to ask a very, very technical question. Who makes better laksa, Singapore or Malaysia?
Who make better laksa? You mean that's really technical. I think Singaporean believe that it's Singaporean, but Malaysian believe that it's Malaysia. So I prefer, I like both.
Got it. Very, very,
very politically correct.
Yeah, very, very safe. Okay, so we wanted to talk about the top 4 things that made you profitable. So if you want to lay everything down, what's the first tip that you could give people, a strategy that has made you profitable, especially in this type of market conditions that we are in?
Cool. Actually, when we are talking about options trading, at the end of the day, options for the options that I'm doing, it's the fundamental is still stocks. So we will never encourage our students to buy and sell options based on lousy companies. So the fundamental is still have to be good businesses. We have to understand and analyze that it's a good business. Then we do options on it. So I think currently in this bearish market, a lot of people are very afraid of investing because they keep on seeing the stock market going down and down every single day. But actually, in fact, this is the best time to start investing, because if you don't want to do options just by doing stocks, just by buying stocks, undervalued great companies, and you hold it for the long run, it's already a very profitable strategy.
Very specific that your first tip is you look at companies that are very, very good businesses. For people who are watching this, what do you look at to determine that this is something that's very, very good? Because when people are trying to analyze it, so what do I look at? Is it Amazon? Is it Google? Is it Meta? Is it Starbucks? Is it Coca-Cola? How do I know if it's worth buying? And maybe a follow-up to that is, what happens when they buy something that's good and then it drops even more? How do you want to address that as well?
That's a very good question. In fact, I think there are so many great businesses that you can invest out there. I think all the companies that you just mentioned, they are all good businesses in themselves. But you have to understand that, firstly, do you understand the business yourself? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to stock investing, when the market drops, that is when it tests your conviction into the company. I can tell you that Amazon is a great business, but if you do not study Amazon business model itself, then if it drops, then you'll feel like, oh my God, should I sell Amazon right now because I don't understand the stock well enough? So what we always advocate is, there are so many businesses out there. Definitely there are certain metrics that you need to learn in terms of, is it growing in terms of revenue, it's earning per share, it's free cash flow. There are definitely so many metrics that you can look at. But at the end of the day, beyond the metrics is you have to understand the business models. Like, do you know whether is it a strong business? Why is it a strong business? And if it is, then you buy into it when it drops further, like right now in the market condition, which is very scary. But actually, this is the best time to really add in some more, right? Because you can right now buy good businesses that in the past are like more expensive, but right now you really get them really cheap. It's like a great Singapore sale or like great Philippine sale.
Got it. I have another follow-up question on that. I gave a couple of companies. A lot of them are very, in terms of market cap, they're very good. In terms of revenue, they're very good. But I want to zero in on something like, for example, Amazon. We talk about Amazon right now because it's done really really well. But years before that, they weren't really making any money. Similar also to Tesla. And when you start investing at the point that you mentioned about revenue, that they start making money already, they turn a profit, the price has already gone up a bit. So how do you sort of analyze companies like that, that they're really really good but it hasn't really reflected in the numbers yet? You totally avoid it because they're not really making money, and then you just come in when they start making money already.
I think that's a very good balance that we need to strike as an investor. I think especially if you are a complete beginner, maybe such businesses are harder to understand because they are harder to predict. Right now, the revenue, like let's say for Tesla growth, it's really like humongous, right? Every single year, they're also targeting to growing like more than 50% year on year, right? But the thing is, it's a very beautiful story. And when you buy into it, you really have to firstly understand the business model once again. And do you really believe in the future of Tesla? And if you believe so, I think even as a beginner, you can consider parting some of your money into these kind of companies that is actually Tesla is considered profitable, but not so profitable yet, but it's profitable. But there are also other companies like, for example, Palantir,
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Spotify, Shopify. There's so many that are pre-profit, but if you really believe in the business story and you see the future growth potential, you can invest some of your money into it. But I personally would not recommend investing 100% in all these pre-profit company because they may not really turn out to be what they say themselves to be, right? So I'd rather have my portfolio that is diversified into some of the companies that are really stable, for example, Microsoft, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, that it's very unlikely to go wrong. In fact, they have been here for so long and they are still making very, very decent profits, even as a very mature company. I would like to have actually majority of my portfolio part under there, and then some of my positions inside, for example, Tesla, Palantir, for the potential future growth. Yeah.
Got it. I'm curious on this. One company that's not making money but close to home, Grab. Do you like it or not?
I think for Grab, I personally have not invested in it, and I maybe look into it, but right now not really under my radar, because I do feel that it's a very competitive industry space, right? And at the same time, like there's so many competitors that can just upcoming and stuff. So for now, I don't think Grab is something that is irreplaceable. Like if I don't use Grab, I can use other things. Like in Singapore, there's like other taxi hailing app. If I don't use GrabFood, I can use Foodpanda. So to me, there's no moat as for the business right now, but I do see that it's trying to grab market share by rolling out services like Grab Card, Grab Wallet to hook people inside. So it's an interesting business model, but definitely not something that I have high conviction in for now. Yeah.
Got it. There's so much that I want to ask, but we need to proceed to our second tip. So number one, look at good businesses. Number two, what's Chloe Lynn's strategy? That's why she's massively rich right now.
I think Marvin is just being super humble. He is definitely even more massively rich than me. So the second strategy that I always use is using options, right? Because options is such a powerful tool, and there are different option strategies that you can use in different market conditions. So for example, right now, with the market being so volatile, as an option seller, you actually get to collect more premium, more cash flow, because as a seller, when you sell the contract, you will get money immediately, and this money is called premium in the options context. And right now, as a seller, you actually get a lot more premium as during normal market condition that is very stable. So right now, I'm also selling options to collect cash flow, right? And I'm only selling put option. Basically, I'm selling put option on companies that have high conviction in, right? On companies I'm willing to buy, and that's one of the strategy that I'm deploying right now. And the second strategy that I will occasionally also deploy will be during this bearish condition. There's a way for you to hedge against the market, which is to actually buy put option. In our class, we actually teach people to do that. We call it strategy Y, which is like when the market drop like this, you are still protecting your portfolio by buying put option. So in that way, you hedge against the market. So when the market goes down, you still make money using this option strategy.
Got it. So I wanna maybe ask this for the benefit of people who are watching this, that are majority of people who are following me are like me, that we're pretty much into stocks or crypto and then maybe other asset classes, but are not into options. So can you walk us through a bit on what it really is? So for example, the price of Apple right now is around $154.
Yep.
If you make a put option, how does it work, and what are you believing for that's going to happen for Apple?
So depending on, are you bullish about Apple or are you bearish about Apple, there are different option strategies. So for example, for myself, I am bullish about Apple in the long run. So in my opinion, because I believe in this business model, and I also think that $150 is actually a fair price to buy Apple and hold on to it for long term, I will actually sell put option on it. And because when I sell put, I basically promise to buy 100 shares of Apple at, let's say, $150. So even if the market really, it can drop, nobody can predict that, right? So it can go below 150. So if that's the case, I really have to buy 100 shares at $150, which is the promise that I made. Because I sell this promise, in return, I actually get to collect premium, which is a cash flow, which is pretty good, because right now, using writing put option, right now, you make about 2 to 3% per month easily in this market condition. So, and that's why it's so important that when you sell a put, which is writing a put option, you need to make sure you do it on companies that you have conviction in, you understand it, and you know that this is a good price to buy in the long term. And when you really get the shares, actually, you should be happy, because finally you can get Apple cheaper than how it used to be. And given time, actually, the share price of Apple will continue to appreciate because it's a good business. Yeah, so this is one of the strategy, which is selling put option. Yeah.
Got it. So first one, pick good businesses. Second, use options to protect you from your trades. Before we go to the third tip, third strategy, what's harder for you to analyze, stocks or love?
Oh, I think that is definitely a very tricky question, but I think love is harder because what do you think? But I think Marvin, he is very successful in his, not just in investing, but also in his relationship. So that's why recently he got a baby girl. Congratulations.
Thank you. So you brought back the question to me. But anyways.
Okay, number 3 is, okay, we don't know when is the market going to recover, but if it does, when it starts to turn, I think it's very powerful to use call option, and you become a buyer of call option to accelerate your return. Because the power of options is it kind of gives you the leverage effect, but the downside is also protected, because your maximum loss will be the premium that you're willing to pay as a buyer. So for example, right now, let's say we say that right now the market is about to turn, and you can see that the bullish trend is going to be coming, and you want to make sure you capture the bullish momentum together using the power options to really have the booster effect. That's when you actually buy a call option, be it on the stocks that you have belief in, or you just buy the index, buy the index call options. And when the market start to have 10 to even 20% run, your options, the buy call option, is going to give you at least 3 times, sometimes even 5 times or more in terms of the boost effect to your portfolio.
Pretty much your strategies based on options also to keep you to help you be profitable, right? That's the main gist of it. Is there a chance also that when you use options that the trade does not go the way you want it to go? How does it go for you?
It definitely, because nobody can 100% time the market, even with technical analysis. When you do options, you have to make sure you use TA, right? Because if you don't use TA, it's very likely that you will be on the wrong side of the trend. So even with using TA, if using indicators, it may still go wrong. So if that's the case, you have to, firstly, when we talk about buying options as a buyer, you have to make sure you have the capital, right? You do not leverage based on the capital. So whatever capital that you have, that's the maximum that you can lose, right? Using the premium. And secondly, is if you want to be slightly more advanced, you need to monitor the chart slightly more. So if you see that, hey, the chart is very much go wrong with the trade that the direction that you set, you have to cut loss as well. So when you cut loss, the maximum that you lose will not be the 100%. Instead, it will be depending on how much the market has gone to the other direction. I think that's pretty similar to you buying stocks as well.
You mentioned technicals. Support. A stock goes below the support line, and you're using, I assume you're using a daily candlestick.
Yeah.
When it goes below that, do you wait for confirmation or do you act right away based on that? So if you wait for confirmation, how many candlesticks do you use, or already transact based on what you see from one candlestick alone?
I use candlestick, like I look at the 1 year chart, which every single day is a daily candle, but my confirmation will comes from using EMA. So I look at 20, 50 and 200 EMA, and I want to see is any, like let's say it's a dead cross, is it a golden cross, and all this. Like, so based on the crossing, let's say using 20 cross below 50, that will be the first sign of bearishness. And if 50 also cross below 200, that is when you know that it's a very bearish trend and you should definitely close your bullish positions.
When you see that cross, like you see a 50 to 200 day cross downward, that actually means also that the market has dropped a lot.
Yes, it has
already,
dropped quite a bit.
Maybe
Yes.
in the tail end of it dropping. Isn't it a bit late already at that time?
Okay, in my opinion, nobody can ever time the market, but I'd rather to be late than sorry. So sometimes the market can kind of fake us by actually just turn a little bit and then before bouncing back up. So since whenever I enter my options position, I usually get the longest contract. So so that to prevent myself of having not enough time for the market to so-called respond. So that's why I always get the longest, be it call option contract, especially when I'm talking about buy call, right? I get the longest call option contract. And if the market does turn bearish, that is when I know that I still have time to cut my losses and I can actually still get back most of the time value that I paid for the call option.
What's your last tip for everyone watching this?
It can be strategy-wise, like I talk about like buying put option that you can protect and hedge against the market. When the market keeps dropping, you can actually choose to also buy put, which is to profit when the market drops further. So for example, right now, if you observe the S&P 500, the chart has almost reached, actually is already the resistance because the market has actually gone up quite a fair bit, right? So if you want to protect your portfolio right now, you can actually choose to buy a put option, and because it's high chance that it can come down because it's a resistance level, that's how your put option will be a profit, and that's how you can use the profit later on. You can close your position, you get profits. You can choose to either use it to buy more stocks or selling more puts, or it's up to you.
To summarize everything, look for a good business, use a put option, use a call option, then fourth one is your wise strategy. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the second one is sell put option, which is, we call it BOSS strategy, BOSS. And then the third one is using call option to accelerate if the market turn back up. And then the last one is to actually buy put option to hedge against the market drop.
Something very, very interesting to be able to combine options with the way you would analyze stocks. And it's something that I actually haven't used yet, and it's nice to hear refreshing insights from you as well. So thank you so much, Chloe. But here's the thing, we're gonna have another video with Chloe, and she's gonna share more tips, especially when the market drags on. So stay tuned for the next video. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, put it down below, and then we'll see, we can have Chloe back again, and she'll answer your questions as well, and let's see how it goes about that too. But if you guys have anything, let us know, put it down below, and then I hope that this is something that added value to you. If you want Chloe back for more videos, just put in the comment section also, I want Chloe, and then we'll see if we can get her back as well. So
I think they're gonna want me to talk about love stories. So yeah.
Let's see how that works for the next videos. So thanks everyone. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.